Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spell Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup, and we've gotten through most of this week's Marvel books, but we still have two more to go, and as well as this week's DC titles. Kicking things off, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy number 16, the beginning of The Last Annihilation. So, where we left off, Ego hatched, and Dormammu came out. Also, Nova, Star-Lord, and Doom met with Sword on Rocco. In the aftermath of the Hellfire Gala. So the issue begins on Throne World 2, the new Kree homeworld. Hulkling is helping with repairs when portals start opening up and mindless ones start coming out of them, firing upon Hulkling, Wiccan, and others of the and Kree Skrull Alliance soldiers. Their fleet appears to be mindless one heads, but aboard the Almond, who are in orbit around what Ego was, they're dealing, and the Tenants, the Guardians are dealing with the mindless ones. And it's not going well. Nova gets an alert, actually a bunch of alerts, and Star-Lord gets one as well from the Spartax, and Moondragon lets them know what's going on. And so, Nova accesses the total Nova Force and heads into the fray, while Star-Lord prepares to do the same. The Guardians are doing what they can against the mindless ones, where Ego used to be, but it's not going well. Especially seeing as how their ships have been, or at least one of their ships gets destroyed, but Nova rescues Gamora and Rocket. And Super Skrull is meeting with everyone else. Apparently, there's an attack happening on Skrullos. So, Hulkling sends Wiccan to Skrullos to gather the Imperial Knights and then save the Skrulls. While Hulkling decides to, and Hulkling also decides it's time to free Captain Glory. Because, they need him. And that is where the issue ends. Good start to the story. It actually seemed like a lot happened. While it was by and large set up, it still felt like a lot happened. I think partially because the story's kind of been building for a few issues already. But the story will actually be continuing in the next issue of Sword, which drops next week. So, okay then. But yeah, solid issue of Guardians. Which brings us to our next book, Moon Knight, number 1. So, Moon Knight. Last we saw Moon Knight, he was being invited to join the Avengers by Black Panther and telling Black Panther to stick it. After the events of Age of Khonshu. So, turns out Mark Spector has Moon Knight has started a mission. People in the neighborhood come to him asking for assistance. So Moon Knight deals with some vampires. It's apparently a vampire pyramid scheme. But the ones they've turned, they haven't. They're innocents. They haven't done anything to hurt anyone yet. So Moon Knight opts to save them rather than stake them. The way he puts it is vampiric self-actualization pyramid scheme cult. But he's in therapy, meeting with a Dr. Sturman. We go over his past, and apparently he's died. Two times just other than the time he died at the foot of Khonshu's statue. And Dr. Sturman asks a very pointed question. Can you die? That's something Mark realizes he doesn't know. But he fights off, apparently the Spider-Man villain Vermin has been cloned himself, and so Moon Knight has to deal with the building being infested by them. He throws one of them out a window and basically says, okay, I know who you are. You're Vermin, Spider-Man villain. Well, I'm not Spider-Man. I'll kill you if I have to. You're afraid of being alone. Well, you can clone yourself. Slow down. You'll never be alone. Leave these people alone, or I will make sure you are alone. Also, he makes a point of emphasizing the fact that he can't die. Or he doesn't die. He meets another follower of Khonshu, Dr. Badir, who runs a free clinic nearby. Badir has some interesting thoughts concerning Moon Knight. But we see kind of flashes of other activities of Moon Knight, including arm wrestling with a Frankenstein monster, fighting another creature like Vermin, chainsawing up zombies. All the usual stuff. But it turns out Moon Knight is being watched. But he says at one point, it's not easy. It's not easy to do things when everyone thinks you're crazy. And it's even harder when they're right. But Moon Knight is being watched by someone who intends to break him. And Dr. Badir is revealed to be Hunter's Moon, the left fist of Khonshu. Or apparently Mark Spector is the right fist, so Dr. Badir is the left fist. And that is where the issue ends. Very good first issue, and it's going to be great to see where this goes. I like the idea of Moon Knight having a mission for, basically a place where people can come and say, hey, I've got a problem, you can help with it. And I need your help. But yeah, it should be cool. It should be interesting to read where the rest of this continues to go. It's also interesting to see Moon Knight in therapy, especially with the therapist who isn't trying to kill him. And apparently, it turns out that the Aesir, the Norse gods, have Khonshu in custody. Anyway, so moving on to our weekly DC books, we've got Legends of the Dark Knight #3. Where we left off, Batman had stumbled into a trap set up for him by an apparent sidekick of Riddler's named Quiz. But it turns out Quiz is smart, not smart, and did her homework. And while Batman was unconscious, she took his utility belt. But Riddler comes down, sees Batman, and is like, "Why did you bring him here?" But she explains what's going on. That he was going to work with Scarecrow to get this nerve gas, but him and Quiz realized that it was more likely that Scarecrow was going to double cross him and hang him out to dry. So they kind of do need Batman's help. And Riddler kind of wants to go straight. He's like, hey, doing this, this gives you something to live for. And we also find out just how the two of them met. Elsewhere, Scarecrow meets with the Russian, gasses the group, but of course the leader of the group was wearing a gas mask. But Scarecrow pulls it off the guy, and as Batman arrives, we jump forward a bit to Alfred preparing breakfast for Bruce. And dropping it on the floor when he sees the condition that Batman returns home in. Bleeding, battered, beaten. But we see the fight itself happening. Batman took on Scarecrow, his thugs, and the Russian thugs on the boat as it went out to sea, even though it wasn't really seaworthy. And the Riddler left a bomb on the boat. A Riddler-wrapped bomb was left on the boat as well, but Batman made it back, has a fever, and is advised by Alfred to rest before going to sleep. And that is where the issue ends. Well, a bit of Dark has been neat so far. Well, it says the end of the story. I do believe there are still additional issues to the series coming out, so we'll see. Moving on to our next book, we've got Catwoman number 33. Where we left off in the Catwoman annual, tensions in Alleytown had gotten really bad between the residents of Alleytown and the GCPD had gotten really bad. And Father Valley made things worse by blowing up a church. So, yeah, the church blowing up is just getting more people, is just going to, invigorate, get the cops to go in harder. But it turns out that the Strays are doing what they can to, as broadband and cellular has been blocked, They found workarounds with the help of Riddler, and we get another visit from the suited informant of Catwoman, who reveals his identity. He's Clayface, and he's brought some potential allies for Selina: Killer Croc, Knockout, Firefly, and Cheshire. The church was blown up. Turns out that the drones did a flyby just before it did, and they caught Father Valley. More digging puts the thing together for GCPD that Father Valley is an assassin hired by the Penguin to go after Catwoman. So Hadley, the detective who's trying to be her friend, goes to inform her of this. At the docks, Catwoman, Clayface, and Croc go to meet with someone who can potentially help get people out of Alleytown. The meeting seems to go well until, it goes up. The meeting place is destroyed by Father Valley, who gets into a close quarters fight with Catwoman and manages to get a few cuts in on her. However, when Clayface attacks him, Selina uses the opportunity to escape. Valley, in the meanwhile, sticks a grenade inside Clayface and waits to see what happens. As Selina is falling into the Gotham River, though, she thinks about the last time she was drowning. Last time someone pulled her from the abyss, she thought it was him, but it was only a ghost. The last page, however, shows that someone is coming to save her this time, and it's him, Batman. And that is where the issue ends. Good issue. It's technically the beginning of a new story arc, though it kind of feels like it's one of those things where the last word kind of flows right into this one. So, moving on to our next book, though, we've got Nightwing number 82. Where we left off, Nightwing went to find out more about the new mayor of Bloodhaven. Turns out is the daughter of Tony Zuko, the man who killed the Graysons. But she explains to him that, and Dick is knocked out, and has explained it to Dick that, in fact, the new mayor is, in fact, his half-sister. He thinks she's full of crap, but he does prevent a full-blown superhero rescue from occurring. And he meets Melinda Zuko's mother. Mei Lin. She was brought to this country to basically be, she was trafficked to the U.S. to marry Tony Zuko at the age of 23. She ran away at the circus. John Grayson kept her safe. Fought Zuko. Even gave him a bear as a prize. So she stuck with the circus. It's explained this is before John and Mary Grace were together. So, and the two of them were together for a little while. But in Star City, Zuko found her, took her back, smacked her around John, even broke his hand. 6 months later, Melinda was born. Years later, Zuko moved on, and Mei wanted to thank John for everything that they'd done and arrived at Haley Circus, only to discover that John and Mary were now married, and they had a son, Dick. She kept meaning to go. She always planned to go back one day, but before she could find the courage, Tony killed them. And so now Dick Grayson realizes that his parents were intentionally murdered, not just his parents were targeted. Plain and simple. Before, as the two of them head out, however, it turns out that that a mayor has guests, the Bloodhaven PD, as well as Blockbuster. And that is where the issue ends. Good issue. It the retconning does work. It'll be interesting to see where things go with the fact that Nightwing now has a half sister, who's the mayor of Bloodhaven. Moving on to our final book of the week, Blue and Gold #1. Blue and Gold focuses on, well, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, a longtime favorite superhero duo. For those unaware, Booster Gold's whole shtick is he's from the future and he came back to the Age of Heroes for fame and fortune. Blue Beetle is a tech-based hero, but you know, a bit of a jokester as well. Him and Booster get along great, and Beetle has helped Booster with a few failed get-rich-quick schemes, but yeah. Anyway, so turns out that of course Booster is live streaming totally on Instagram as he tries to save the Justice League from an alien invader. Yeah, Booster's gonna get his ass handed to him though. So Skeets, his security droid logistics expert, moral compass, and life coach, goes to talk to Ted Cord, aka Blue Beetle, and says, "Hey, Booster needs your help." So he goes to help. The day is they do find the League, but the events inside the ship are also rather dangerous. So while Booster deals with them, Skeet manages to convince Beetle to go through and at least, tinker around with the ship a bit. So maybe he can do, which he does. And the League is saved, and they manage to escape the vessel before it leaves. Black Adam calls Booster away to do some cleanup, when the rest of the League offer a spot on the team to Blue Beetle. Initially, Beetle thinks that it's meant for both of them, but yeah, Hawkgirl, mentions the fact that Booster's obnoxious. Aquaman says no way. Hippolyta says that he is irritating and lacking in substance. Batman just glares because, well, Batman. But Beetle says, hey, look, we're a package deal. You want me, you get him too. And they said, well, no, that's how it is, But but Beetle tells Booster that's what happened, and they decide they're going to do the hero thing themselves, kind of like, maybe try to help the people that the big guys can't necessarily do. With the backing of Cord Industries. But light years away, the commander of the vessel that's trying to kidnap the League has returned to their home world. Turns out that it's part of an ancient spacefaring empire, and technically Earth is part of their territory. So, turns out that they'll be making a return attempt. And that is where the issue ends. So yeah, Blue and Gold is a miniseries. I can't remember 6 or 8 issues, but it looks going to be fun. It's nice to see Booster and Beetle back together, and in their own, and having a book, even if it's just a miniseries of their own. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.